Welcome to the deep dive. In our hyper-connected world, we're just swimming in information, right? Especially about the figures who are really shaping our future.
Oh, absolutely. It's overwhelming.
And when it comes to transformative leaders, few names generate as much buzz, as much discussion, and frankly, as much data as Elon Musk.
He's certainly front and center.
Trying to sift through all of that can feel like, trying to drink from a fire hose.
Yep. Impossible almost.
Well, today we're cutting through the noise. This deep dive is basically your shortcut to understanding one of the most talked about, and let's be honest, often controversial leaders of our time, Elon Musk.
And we've got a great foundation for this.
We do. We've got a comprehensive source that really lays out his unique management style, and we are ready to unpack it for you.
That's exactly why we're here today, because while Musk's undeniable impact on industries, from space exploration to electric vehicles, it's obvious, right?
You can't miss it.
But truly understanding how he leads, that's absolutely crucial for anyone navigating modern challenges.
Right. Whether you're trying to drive innovation in your own field, maybe looking to manage teams more effectively.
Or even if you're just trying to comprehend the dynamics of, visionary leadership itself, his approach offers a real wealth of insights.
So what's our guide today?
Our mission today is built around an in-depth book outline and excerpts detailing the core principles of Musk's management by Paramendra Kumar Bhagat. We're going to rigorously extract the most important nuggets, the key insights.
Giving you, the listener, a structured, clear understanding of his controversial, yet you have to admit, demonstrably effective approach.
Exactly. Structured is the key word.
Okay, so here's your mission, should you choose to accept it. By the end of this deep dive, you'll walk away not just informed, but with genuinely actionable insights.
Insights into what truly makes a visionary leader tick, right?
Yeah, what the inherent trade-offs are of such an intense style, because there definitely are trade-offs.
Oh, for sure.
And most importantly, how you might intelligently incorporate some of these powerful principles into your own life and organizations, without necessarily replicating the potential downsides.
That's the critical part, applying it wisely.
All right, let's start digging.
Let's do it.
So let's really dig into the foundation here, because right at the core, the absolute heart of Musk's style is this unwavering focus on a clear and ambitious vision.
Unwavering is the perfect word.
And we're talking about goals that, honestly, to most of us sound almost laughably impossible, like science fiction level.
Right. Things people just dismiss out of hand.
But what's truly fascinating here, what our source points out, is how this vision isn't merely some mission statement hanging on a wall or, a lofty ideal.
No, it's much more than that.
It's a literal, tangible blueprint that fundamentally shapes his entire company culture. It's the North Star that guides every single decision, every resource allocation, every tough conversation.
You've hit on the absolute essence of his leadership there. For Musk, leadership truly begins and ends with articulating an audacious vision. It's not some distant aspiration you hope to achieve someday.
Like a 20-year plan you file away.
Exactly. It's an immediate, urgent call to action, and it drives every decision and initiative within his companies. Our source, Paramendra Kumar Bhagat, really emphasizes this.
And what does that compelling vision do?
Well, it provides clear direction, obviously. It powerfully motivates teams. And perhaps most importantly, it cultivates this profound sense of shared purpose that goes way beyond just, financial goals.
Shared purpose, that's key.
It is. And what sets Musk's visions apart is their unique audacity. They're not just aiming for incremental improvements. They're targeting problems of global and, even interplanetary significance. It forces an entirely new scale of thinking.
So it's not just a declaration then, it's like a constant active filter for everything they do. That must show up in pretty specific ways, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's deeply embedded into the very fabric of the organization. Think about Tesla. Their declared mission is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. Now, that's far more than simply building electric cars, isn't it?
Right, it's bigger than just a product.
It's about instigating a fundamental global shift in how we generate, store, and consume energy. And this overarching principle, it relentlessly guides every single innovation.
Like what specifically?
Well, from the iconic electric vehicles themselves, naturally, to energy storage solutions like the Powerwall and Megapack, and even the development of solar energy infrastructure, it all ties back.
And Musk's insistence on performance and design.
Exactly. He famously insisted that Tesla's EVs not only be sustainable, but actually outperform and outshine traditional gasoline cars.
Mm.
Speed, design, desirability. He
Okay.
wanted it all.
So he challenged that whole idea that sustainability means sacrifice.
Precisely. He fundamentally challenged that deeply ingrained notion that embracing sustainability required compromise. And by aligning every operational aspect, even down to the, revolutionary design and placement of their gigafactories, with this core vision,
They changed everything.
Tesla hasn't just redefined consumer perceptions, they've become the undisputed vanguard of the clean energy revolution.
So the sustainability isn't just a virtue signal. It's engineered to be a competitive advantage because it's desirable. That's a powerful reframing.
It's a masterstroke in vision alignment, really. And then you look at SpaceX, their vision is, if anything, even more breathtaking.
Making life multiplanetary. Colonizing Mars.
Right, to make life multiplanetary by colonizing Mars. This isn't just some business plan, it's a grand existential objective. It captures the imagination of people worldwide, sure, but it also instills this incredible, almost desperate sense of urgency.
Urgency about humanity's long-term survival.
Exactly. And this extraordinarily ambitious goal is the singular force driving groundbreaking achievements like reusable rockets and the development of the Starship spacecraft.
How so? How does Mars drive reusable rockets?
Think about it. Radically reducing the cost of space travel isn't merely a nice business objective for SpaceX, it's an absolute prerequisite for making Mars colonization economically feasible in any way.
Ah, okay. The vision dictates the necessary innovation.
Precisely. Every single milestone, from the successful launches of Falcon Heavy to the deployment of the Starlink satellite network, serves as a concrete step closer to this incredible, almost impossible-sounding vision. It powerfully reinforces a culture of bold ambition and relentless determination within the company.
Okay, so given those examples, Tesla and SpaceX, it seems like the lesson isn't just have a vision, but more like let your vision ruthlessly dictate every single action.
That's a good way to put it. Ruthlessly dictate.
So for anyone listening, how do you apply this vision-driven idea in a practical, impactful way without, having billions of dollars or planning to go to Mars?
Well, our source, Paramendra Kumar Bhagat, offers truly valuable insights derived directly from Musk's playbook. First, you absolutely must define a vision that is not only clear and compelling, but also, frankly, audaciously ambitious.
Audacious, okay.
It needs to provide the magnetic north that truly inspires and unifies your teams around a common purpose, making the seemingly impossible feel, well, maybe achievable.
And then just having it isn't enough.
No. Second, you have to ruthlessly align your organizational goals with that vision. Every single aspect, product development, marketing, daily operational processes, needs to demonstrably support the overarching mission.
Which means saying no to things.
Absolutely. It means being willing to shed initiatives that don't serve the core vision, no matter how appealing they might seem on their own merit. Third, communicate that vision incessantly and passionately.
Not just once a year at the all-hands.
Definitely not. Share it consistently, not just once, but maybe daily in different ways, to build unwavering enthusiasm and deep commitment among everyone involved. Fourth, use that vision as your non-negotiable primary decision-making framework.
Like a tiebreaker.
More than that. Let it guide every strategic choice, ensuring that even your smallest short-term actions are meticulously aligned with your long-term audacious objectives. And finally, cultivate a culture of deep purpose.
Well, you do that.
Embed the vision so profoundly that employees feel their daily work truly contributes to something far grander and more meaningful than just, a paycheck. By integrating these principles, you can harness the extraordinary power of vision to drive unprecedented innovation.
Overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges.
And achieve truly extraordinary outcomes that others might just deem impossible.
Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting and maybe a bit controversial too. Musk isn't just some CEO in a boardroom, right? A figurehead. He's known for being deeply, incredibly hands-on.
Oh yeah, that's putting it mildly.
Our source describes him as having deep technical and operational engagement. What does that actually look like in practice, especially for someone running multiple massive companies? And why is that so radically different from what we might expect?
That's a crucial distinction, you're right. Unlike many CEOs who primarily focus on, say, high-level strategy, investor relations, and delegate the technical execution entirely.
Which is the standard model, really.
It is, but Musk's involvement goes far, far beyond mere strategic oversight. He actively participates in engineering discussions, design reviews, and even troubleshooting sessions.
Because he actually can, right. His background.
Exactly. His foundational background in physics and engineering isn't just a line on his resume. It gives him the genuine expertise to contribute meaningfully to these highly complex, granular areas.
But what does that let him do?
Well, this deeply hands-on approach allows him to make incredibly informed decisions, identify potential issues and bottlenecks very early in the process, and directly drive innovation from the ground up. He genuinely believes that true leaders, especially in technically complex fields, need a deep understanding of the intricacies of their products and processes.
Why? To ensure the vision doesn't get lost in translation.
Precisely. To ensure their grand vision is executed with absolute precision and without fundamental technical flaws getting baked in early.
I remember hearing those stories about him literally sleeping on the factory floor during the Model 3 ramp-up. That's not just involved, that's practically being part of the assembly line.
It is, and that's a perfect, almost legendary example. During what he famously called production hell for Tesla's Model 3, a period marked by immense, almost existential challenges in scaling manufacturing.
They were really struggling.
They were. And Musk didn't just issue directives from some comfy office. He took an active, direct, and incredibly physical role. Our source highlights how he spent countless hours at Tesla's Fremont factory, literally working alongside engineers and assembly line workers.
Going what?
Identifying and resolving bottlenecks in real time. He made the critical and initially controversial decision to reintegrate manual labor for certain tasks when his highly anticipated automation systems weren't performing as expected.
Which sounds like a step backwards.
It did to many. But this seemingly backward step ultimately allowed Tesla to overcome those severe production hurdles and meet its ambitious targets. His visceral willingness to roll up his sleeves and personally immerse himself in the dirtiest parts of the problem.
What effect did that have?
Well, it didn't just demonstrate unparalleled commitment, it inspired an almost cult-like perseverance and problem-solving mentality across the entire team. It showed them he was literally in the trenches with them.
And this isn't just about factory floors, is it? It extends to the high-stakes, highly intellectual world of rocket science, too.
Absolutely. At SpaceX, his technical engagement is just as profound, maybe even more so. He's been absolutely pivotal in developing groundbreaking technologies like reusable rockets and the Starship spacecraft.
How about that?
He's known for deep involvement in reviewing practically every design iteration, meticulously analyzing testing prototypes, and poring over the data from failures. For instance, during the early, very tumultuous development of the Falcon 1 rocket.
Their first one.
Right. He worked incredibly closely, almost shoulder to shoulder, with engineers to address the technical issues that repeatedly threatened the program's very existence. His hands-on analytical approach was crucial in overcoming those challenges and ultimately achieving SpaceX's first successful orbital launch, which, was touch and go.
And with Starship now.
Similar story. He's a constant presence in design discussions and test reviews, offering unique insights and relentlessly challenging his teams to think creatively, to defy conventional wisdom. He ensures that SpaceX's audacious goals are supported by truly innovative and, importantly, pragmatic engineering solutions.
Okay, so he's deeply involved, sometimes to the point of literally being in the weeds, sleeping on the floor. But how does he manage to do that without becoming a classic micromanagement nightmare? There has to be a fine line there.
That's the really delicate balance our source points out, and it's where the nuance and maybe the controversy lies. While his hands-on approach is an undeniably powerful driving force, he strives to strike this balance.
How?
By fostering a unique culture of collaboration, radical transparency, and intense accountability. First, his deep involvement, perhaps paradoxically, encourages open communication.
How does that work? Seems like it would intimidate people.
Maybe, but by being in those granular technical discussions, he creates direct opportunities for team members at all levels to share their ideas, even challenge his assumptions, and in turn feel profoundly valued for their contributions. If they can hold the own, that is.
Okay, what else?
Second, his deep understanding of the work sets incredibly high standards. Teams know he gets their craft, which intrinsically motivates them to strive for excellence, knowing any superficial work or hand-waving will likely be caught.
But the risk there is?
The challenge, of course, is ensuring this intense scrutiny doesn't lead to stifling micromanagement or debilitating burnout, which is a constant risk and, let's be frank, a frequent criticism leveled against him.
Right. And third,
Third, he empowers teams to innovate within his vision. While he's deeply involved in the goal, he often challenges them to own the how, to take calculated risks, solve problems creatively. SpaceX's reusable rockets are a testament to engineers pushing technological boundaries, not just passively following top-down orders.
and fourth, has he adapted as the company's got huge?
Yes, and fourth, as his companies have scaled exponentially, he has had to adapt. He's delegated more responsibilities to highly capable senior leaders while trying to remain deeply involved only in the most critical, high-impact technical areas, things like Starship design or new battery cell technology.
So if you're a leader listening to this, maybe running a smaller team or even a large department, how do you take these lessons of deep engagement and apply them to your work without, overwhelming yourself or completely stifling your team?
Good question. Our source advises several practical and insightful strategies. First, stay profoundly connected to your core operations. Leaders need more than just a superficial understanding. They require a deep comprehension of their products, services, core processes to make truly informed, impactful decisions.
Get out of the boardroom sometimes.
Exactly. Second, lead by example. Your willingness to immerse yourself in the granular details, even if it's just occasionally walking the factory floor or deep diving into a complex customer issue, sends a powerful message and inspires a similar level of commitment from your team.
What else?
Third, actively foster a culture of innovation. Encourage creativity, unconventional problem solving, calculated risk taking, knowing that true breakthroughs rarely come from playing it safe. Fourth, master that delicate balance between engagement and empowerment.
The tricky part.
The trickiest part. Be actively involved in critical areas, provide guidance, set the bar high, but then crucially, trust your teams. Delegate substantial responsibilities and step back to let them take ownership and shine.
And finally,
Adapt your approach as your organization grows. What works for a 5-person startup won't scale perfectly to a 500-person company, let alone 50,000. Regularly adjust your level and type of involvement to balance hands-on engagement with strategic oversight. Ensure you remain knowledgeable without becoming a bottleneck. It's about being an expert guide, maybe a chief engineer, not necessarily a micromanager of everything.
okay, that leads perfectly into the next point. What does all this intense vision and hands-on drive mean for setting incredibly high expectations and relentlessly pushing boundaries? Musk is absolutely synonymous with a relentless pursuit of excellence, but our source points out this intense drive isn't without its challenges, its edge.
Right. How do you achieve those revolutionary breakthroughs while balancing the very real human cost? That's a profoundly critical question, and it really gets to the heart of the Musk paradox.
Paradox is a good word for it.
He undeniably cultivates a culture where high expectations and ambitious goals are the norm. His objectives aren't just bold, they are often transformative, designed to reshape entire industries or even humanity's future, and this serves as an incredibly powerful motivator.
Give us an example from Tesla.
Think about Tesla's roadmap for innovation. From developing the first mass-market EV, the Model 3, which fundamentally changed consumer perception, to pioneering truly autonomous driving technologies that are still pushing the boundaries of what's technically possible. These monumental achievements stem directly from Musk's almost pathological insistence on excellence.
It's not just cars.
No, his vision extends beyond the vehicles themselves, encompassing ambitious ventures in energy storage solutions, renewable energy products. He's perpetually pushing the boundaries of what's humanly and technologically possible, and he expects his teams to operate at that same breakneck pace.
And then there's SpaceX and reusable rockets, a concept that genuinely seemed like pure science fiction just a few years ago. That must have required an almost unbelievable level of perfectionism and persistence.
Exactly. At SpaceX, Musk's unwavering demand for innovation directly led to the development of reusable rocket technology. This was a feat previously considered not just difficult, but frankly unattainable by the established aerospace giants.
And the impact.
This breakthrough has not only dramatically reduced the cost of space travel, but has literally brought humanity closer to interplanetary exploration. His impossibly high expectations compelled his teams to tackle incredibly complex engineering challenges that required totally novel solutions, resulting in the successful development and repeated deployment of the Falcon 9 and now Starship rockets. So the positive, transformative impact of this relentless pursuit of excellence is undeniably revolutionary.
But as you said earlier, There's an edge to this. The source explicitly mentions the cost of burnout. How does he balance driving such intense innovation and expectation with the very real risk of employee exhaustion and, frankly, high turnover?
This is the critical, almost unavoidable challenge. While such stratospheric expectations can indeed drive exceptional results and rapid progress, they often come at the severe cost of intense pressure and the significant risk of employee burnout.
Which we hear a lot about.
We do. Musk's companies are widely known for their extraordinarily demanding work environments, long hours, tight deadlines. Our source explicitly details the cost of burnout, explaining how prolonged periods of severe stress and perpetually high workloads can catastrophically impact employee morale, cripple productivity, and lead to alarmingly high employee retention issues.
And the work-life balance aspect.
It creates a significant work-life imbalance, often leaving little to no room for personal life, severely straining relationships, and ultimately jeopardizing overall mental and physical well-being. It's a profound criticism, suggesting that while intense work environments might achieve astonishing short-term gains, they risk severely compromising long-term sustainability if employees consistently feel overburdened and unsupported.
It sounds like a trade-off he's willing to make, but one leaders need to think carefully about.
Absolutely. It's perhaps the most crucial balance for any leader to genuinely consider.
So what are the suggested strategies, directly from the source, for managing this paradox? How do you maintain that intense drive for excellence without completely exhausting your people and facing a talent drain?
The source offers several vital mitigation strategies that leaders should carefully consider. Firstly, encouraging genuine work-life balance is crucial, even within a high-performance culture.
In that environment.
It might involve implementing flexible schedules where possible, offering remote work options where feasible, and actively promoting regular breaks and true time off to help mitigate the cumulative effects of stress and burnout. It's about structure, not just hope.
Okay, what else?
Secondly, celebrating achievements, both large and small, is vital. Acknowledging and celebrating milestones, no matter how incremental, can significantly boost morale, provide employees with a much-needed sense of accomplishment, and reinforce that their sacrifices are seen and valued.
Recognition matters.
It really does. Recognition programs, team events, public appreciation, these can powerfully reinforce a positive, resilient work culture. Thirdly, providing accessible resources for support is non-negotiable.
Like mental health support.
Exactly. Offering readily available access to mental health resources, fostering an open and non-judgmental dialogue about well-being, and providing coaching can help employees navigate the inevitable challenges and maintain resilience in such inherently demanding environments. It's about building a robust support system, not just setting impossibly high expectations.
Beyond just managing burnout, what are the practical strategies for fostering excellence itself, regardless of the intensity that the source offers? How do you actually build that capability?
Our source provides actionable advice that anyone can implement. First, define clear, measurable, and audaciously ambitious goals. Establishing these objectives provides clear direction and powerfully motivates teams to stretch beyond their perceived limits.
So the vision again, but maybe broken down.
Precisely. Second, lead by undeniable example. Musk's personal work ethic and visible dedication serve as an incredibly powerful example, inspiring his teams to match his intensity. Though, as we discussed, this needs careful balancing.
Right, don't just copy the hours blindly.
Exactly. Third, actively encourage innovation and bold risk-taking. True innovation often involves embracing failure as an indispensable learning opportunity, and a leader's willingness to experiment and absorb setbacks fosters this vital mindset.
Give them permission to fail smartly.
Right. Fourth, ensure you provide ample resources and unwavering support. Excellence demands the right tools, continuous training, cutting-edge infrastructure, and robust support systems. You can't demand miracles without resources.
And
finally, cultivate a feedback-driven culture. Continuous improvement is the hallmark of true excellence, and open, honest feedback loops ensure agility, rapid iteration, and consistent progress towards those ambitious goals.
So for your own team and your own leadership path, what's the ultimate lesson here regarding this relentless pursuit of excellence? How do you take this home?
I think the key takeaway is an acute understanding of balance. You absolutely need to set bold aspirations that inspire extraordinary results, yes, but you must judiciously balance that intense pressure with adequate, visible, and proactive support for your team's well-being.
So ambition plus support.
Exactly. Foster a growth mindset where challenges are unequivocally seen as profound opportunities for learning and growth, not as terminal failures. Celebrate progress regularly, acknowledging every achievement, no matter how small, to reinforce a positive and sustainable culture.
And adaptability.
And most importantly, adapt intelligently to challenges. The pursuit of excellence will always involve navigating setbacks and unexpected obstacles. Resilience, both individual and organizational, is utterly crucial for maintaining momentum and achieving greatness sustainably without sacrificing your most valuable asset, your people.
Okay, this next concept is fascinating. It truly transforms how you think about problem solving, and it's credited as being right at the core of Musk's most groundbreaking achievements. First principles thinking.
Yes, first principles.
It sounds complex, maybe even a bit academic, but the source suggests it's incredibly powerful and surprisingly practical.
It truly is transformative. First principles thinking is basically a problem-solving framework. It involves breaking down complex issues into their most basic components and reasoning from those fundamental truths.
Okay, how is that different from normal problem solving?
Well, it's a profound departure from what most of us do most of the time, which is reasoning by analogy.
Reasoning by analogy.
Yeah, that's essentially just applying existing solutions or patterns. Reasoning by analogy asks, what has worked before in a similar situation? Or what are competitors doing?
Which seems sensible.
It often is for incremental improvements. But first principles thinking, in stark contrast, challenges assumptions, and rebuilds understanding from the ground up. It asks, what are the absolute irreducible truths of this problem? Forget what everyone else is doing for a moment.
Where does this idea come from?
Its philosophical roots go way back to ancient Greece. Aristotle defined first principles as foundational propositions that cannot be deduced from anything else, the absolute basics. In a modern context, it means relentlessly questioning every single aspect of a problem.
Stripping it down.
Exactly. Stripping it down to its bare essence, and then reconstructing solutions based purely on objective, irrefutable truths, rather than relying on conventional practices, industry norms, or simply what's always been done.
So it's about getting to the absolute fundamental truths, not just what's commonly accepted or what everyone else is doing, like the physics of the problem almost.
Precisely. Its value is immense when you're tackling complex and entrenched problems that seem to resist conventional solutions. By rigorously focusing on these fundamentals, you systematically eliminate cognitive biases.
Your own assumptions you didn't know you had.
Right. You reveal possibilities that others might completely overlook because of their preconceived notions, and you foster an incredible degree of creativity and radical innovation. It empowers leaders to challenge long-held assumptions, identify core truths often hidden in plain sight, and ultimately innovate far beyond perceived constraints. It's how you potentially go from incremental improvement to a revolutionary breakthrough.
Okay, theory sounds great. Give us some concrete examples of how Musk actually applied this. How did he use this to, say, revolutionize rockets and make space travel vastly more affordable? That seems like a perfect case.
It is. SpaceX's audacious approach to radically reducing the cost of space exploration is a textbook example of first principles thinking in action. Traditionally, rockets were viewed and treated as single-use vehicles. You launch it, it falls in the ocean, done.
Leading to astronomical costs.
Astronomical.
Mm-hmm.
The launch vehicle itself was just discarded after one flight. Musk fundamentally questioned this deeply ingrained assumption. He asked essentially, why can't rockets be reusable, just like commercial airplanes?
Which sounds naive, maybe.
To the established players, maybe it did. But to answer that, he and his team broke down the cost of rocket components from an absolute first principles perspective. They didn't look at the price of existing rockets, they looked at the raw materials.
What did they find?
They meticulously analyzed the raw material costs, the aluminum, titanium, carbon fiber, and found that these materials were a mere fraction, maybe just 2–3% of the cost of the finished single-use product.
Wow, only 2–3%?
Right. This stark fundamental truth allowed them to entirely rethink the manufacturing process and, crucially, to design for reusability from the ground up. This wasn't just incremental improvement to existing rockets. It was a dramatic cost reduction and a complete paradigm shift that truly revolutionized the entire space industry.
And the Falcon 9 landings are the result.
The development of the Falcon 9 and Starship with their vertical landing capabilities embodies this radical shift born from first principles.
And he did something similar with Tesla batteries, right? Another area where costs were this huge barrier to mass adoption of EVs.
Exactly the same thinking. When Tesla started, the exorbitantly high cost of EV batteries was the single largest hurdle for making electric vehicles affordable and scalable for the mass market.
Everyone knew batteries were expensive.
Right. But instead of simply accepting market prices or negotiating for minor discounts, Musk asked that quintessential first principles question. Why are batteries so expensive? He didn't just look at the finished battery pack price from suppliers.
He broke it down.
He deconstructed the entire battery chemistry and manufacturing process down to its most basic elements, the raw materials like nickel, cobalt, lithium, and the energy required to process them. What does physics say is the minimum possible cost?
And what did that lead to?
This rigorous fundamental reevaluation allowed Tesla to identify specific opportunities to optimize efficiency and scale production. They invested heavily in research to improve battery materials, streamline cell production, develop innovations like the larger 4680 battery cell.
Which is a fundamental redesign.
It is aimed at reducing cost per kilowatt hour, increasing energy density, and simplifying the battery pack structure. This fundamental reevaluation not only dramatically lowered costs, but also significantly increased energy density and allowed for greater manufacturing scalability,
Making more affordable EVs with longer range as possible.
directly addressing the core barrier to adoption identified through first principles.
Okay, this sounds incredibly powerful, like something everyone should be doing. What are some practical exercises directly from the source that listeners can use to implement this kind of thinking in their daily leadership or problem solving? How can you start thinking like this?
Yeah, it's not just for rocket scientists. Our source, Paramendra Kumar Phagat, lays out highly practical, actionable exercises for cultivating first principles thinking. First step, define the problem clearly.
Seems obvious, but maybe isn't.
It's crucial. Don't just think about it. Write it down in one concise sentence, then meticulously break it into its smallest independent components, and crucially, challenge the phrasing of the problem itself. Are you solving the real underlying issue or just a symptom?
Okay, define and dissect. Then what?
Second, question every assumption. List every single assumption you're making about the problem, the existing solutions, the context. For each assumption, relentlessly ask, why must this be true, and what if it isn't? This helps you pinpoint which assumptions are most impactful and potentially false guardrails.
So find the shaky ground.
Exactly. Third, identify fundamental truths. Strip the problem down to its absolute essence. For each component, ask, what is the most basic, irreducible truth of this element? Think physics, basic economics, human nature, and ask, is this an indisputable fact or merely another assumption? Your goal is a list of truly undeniable truths, the bedrock.
The actual building blocks.
Right. Fourth, reconstruct solutions. Now, using only those fundamental truths as your building blocks, brainstorm entirely new solutions. Liberate yourself completely from conventional methods or what's been done before. Imagine you're inventing it for the very first time, starting from scratch with just these truths.
Don't look at the old way at all.
Try not to, initially. Fifth, test and iterate relentlessly. Prototype or simulate your new solutions, maybe on a small scale. Meticulously collect feedback, identify immediate improvements, and repeat the process until you achieve the desired results based on those first principles.
And this isn't just for huge world-changing problems. You could apply this to daily decisions and team challenges too.
Absolutely. The source suggests applying it even to seemingly mundane daily decisions like time management. If you consistently struggle with prioritizing, maybe identify a regular decision-making point, break it down to its fundamental components.
I like it.
Like, time is finite, tasks should align with core goals, my energy fluctuates throughout the day. These are truths. Then evaluate your options based purely on these truths, rather than just habit or inherited practices.
And for teams.
It applies powerfully to team collaboration. Organize a dedicated brainstorming session where you guide the entire team through these first principle steps. Actively encourage diverse perspectives at each stage. For example, if your team's challenge is drastically reducing product delivery times.
Don't just tweak the current process.
Right, don't just optimize current logistics. Instead, break it down to fundamentals like inventory velocity, material flow, demand forecasting accuracy, manufacturing bottlenecks. Then, collaboratively brainstorm radical solutions, maybe AI-driven logistics, predictive analytics, or even completely redesigning your supply chain based on those fundamental truths rather than just speeding up existing processes.
So, the core lessons for your own innovation journey from first principles thinking. What should people take away?
First, question absolutely everything. Never take anything for granted, no matter how universally accepted it seems. Second, focus on the absolute fundamentals. Relentlessly get to the core elements of any problem, stripping away all the superficial layers. Third, embrace radical creativity. first principles thinking truly liberates you to explore innovative and unconventional ideas that others might dismiss as impossible or naive. And finally, iterate relentlessly. Continuously test, refine, and improve your solutions, viewing every setback or failed experiment as an invaluable data point for learning. It's a pathway to truly transformative success, not just incremental gains.
Okay, so we have this visionary leader, deeply hands-on, setting incredibly high expectations using first principles. How does he manage to cut through all the red tape and keep things moving at lightning speed in organizations that are now massive?
Yeah, that's a huge challenge for any large company.
And a lot of it comes down to his philosophy on organizational structure and communication, specifically a flat hierarchy and direct, often unfiltered communication. It just seems to fly in the face of how many large companies operate, which are often bogged down by layers and layers of management.
It absolutely does, and it's a very deliberate design choice on his part. A flat organizational structure, as our source describes it, intentionally minimizes hierarchical layers. The goal: faster communication and more efficient decision-making.
Compared to the traditional model.
Right. It stands in stark contrast to traditional, towering, top-down models where information gets filtered, distorted, and significantly slowed as it travels up and down through multiple management tiers. Musk's strong preference for this flatter model stems from his unwavering belief that innovation, rapid problem-solving, and genuine accountability. They truly thrive when employees have direct, unimpeded access to leadership
And feel empowered.
and feel profoundly empowered to contribute ideas and challenge the status quo without the crushing weight of unnecessary bureaucracy.
What are the specific tangible benefits of running a company this way, especially at the scale of a Tesla or a SpaceX now? It seems hard to manage.
It is hard, but the key advantages are remarkably clear, particularly in these fast-moving industries. First, you get enhanced and accelerated communication. Employees at all levels can, in theory, communicate directly with decision makers, bypassing multiple layers of management that often slow down the flow of critical information and create delays.
Information gets there faster.
Hopefully. Second, faster decision making. By drastically reducing the number of required approvals and sign-offs, decisions can be made much more quickly, allowing organizations to adapt with agility and seize fleeting opportunities. Third, profound employee empowerment. A flat structure inherently gives employees greater autonomy, encouraging them to take initiative, own their projects, and contribute their best ideas.
And innovation.
And fourth, active encouragement of innovation. With significantly fewer barriers to sharing ideas, employees feel far more confident proposing creative solutions, challenging existing paradigms, and taking calculated risks. It's a structure deliberately designed for extreme agility and rapid execution.
And he actively fights bureaucracy, doesn't he? He's famous for sending out those emails, telling people to walk out of meetings if they're not adding value or ignore chain of command.
Absolutely. Musk's disdain for unnecessary bureaucracy is well documented and almost legendary. He has implemented specific, often blunt, strategies to streamline operations and ensure communication remains as open and efficient as humanly possible.
Like what?
One key aspect is direct access to leadership. He has repeatedly and famously encouraged employees to bypass managers and contact him or other senior leaders directly if they believe it will resolve an issue more effectively or bring a critical problem to light faster.
Which must drive some managers crazy.
I imagine it does, but it fosters an almost radical culture of transparency and ensures important, time-sensitive information reaches the right people without debilitating delays. Another critical point is the elimination of silos. Cross-functional collaboration is aggressively prioritized. Departments are actively and explicitly discouraged from operating in isolation. For example, engineers at SpaceX frequently work across traditional disciplinary lines to tackle complex rocket design and production challenges, sharing knowledge fluidly. And finally, there's an almost brutal focus on meritocracy.
Meaning?
Ideas are valued solely based on their merit rather than the rank of the person proposing them. The goal is ensuring that the best, most innovative ideas rise to the top, regardless of who came up with them or their job title.
Okay. For someone listening who wants to implement this kind of agility, maybe fight bureaucracy in their own, perhaps more traditional organization, what are the actionable tools and techniques our source suggests? How can you make things flatter and faster?
The source offers concrete, practical steps. First, encourage truly open communication channels. Implement modern tools like Slack or Teams for real-time, company-wide communication, yes, but also foster a genuine open-door policy where employees feel psychologically safe and comfortable approaching leadership with ideas or concerns.
Tools and culture.
Right. Second, simplify decision-making processes. Systematically minimize the number of required approvals. Empower employees to make decisions autonomously within their clearly defined areas of responsibility, trusting their judgment. Third, promote active cross-functional collaboration. Organize cross-departmental meetings, create shared platforms, use project management tools to streamline teamwork and knowledge sharing across different disciplines. Make it easy to work together.
What about the structure itself?
Fourth, work to flatten hierarchical layers. Actively reduce management levels where possible. Encourage existing team leads to adopt more facilitative coaching roles rather than purely authoritative gatekeeping ones. Regularly evaluate your organizational structure to identify and remove any unnecessary layers or bottlenecks. And fifth, implement robust feedback loops.
Why feedback?
Create systematic channels for collecting regular, candid feedback through anonymous surveys, suggestion boxes, town halls, one-on-ones, and crucially, use that feedback for data-driven, continuous improvements to the structure and processes themselves. Listen to what's working and what isn't.
But this isn't without its challenges, right? A flat structure sounds great in theory, but it can't be a perfect panacea, especially as companies get really big.
You're absolutely right. It's definitely not a perfect system and comes with its own set of significant challenges. The source explicitly acknowledges potential downsides. One is the inherent risk of overloading leaders.
Makes sense. Fewer managers means more direct reports.
Exactly. Fewer hierarchical layers mean more direct communication channels and potentially more decisions flowing directly to a smaller group of senior individuals. To mitigate this, leaders in flat structures need to be exceptional at delegating effectively and empowering their team leads even further.
No.
Another challenge is potential ambiguity in roles. In a flat structure where traditional titles and reporting lines might be less rigid, clearly defining individual roles and responsibilities is absolutely essential to avoid confusion, duplicated efforts, or critical gaps in accountability. Clarity is key.
And scaling.
And finally, there are definite scalability concerns. As an organization grows exponentially, maintaining a truly flat structure can become increasingly challenging, potentially leading to chaos if not managed with extreme care and constant adjustment. It requires regular assessment and courageous adaptation to balance the benefits of flatness with the practical needs of a much larger, more complex organization.
So the big lessons for your organization looking to become more agile, flatter, faster?
Prioritize radical transparency. Encourage open, unfiltered dialogue across all levels to build trust and ensure rapid, efficient information flow. Empower employees by giving them genuine autonomy and ownership over their work, fostering a sense of accountability. Value ideas over hierarchy. Cultivate a true meritocratic culture where the best ideas prevail, regardless of title.
And collaboration.
Actively facilitate collaboration by systematically breaking down traditional silos and encouraging cross-functional teamwork. And critically, always adapt and evolve your structure as your organization grows and its needs inevitably change. It's about building an inherently agile, incredibly responsive organization that can navigate complexity and seize opportunities at speed.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Failure isn't fatal, it's foundational. That really sums up another huge part of Musk's style. His willingness to embrace calculated risks and iterate toward progress. This is where some of the most dramatic stories of his companies, the explosions, the near bankruptcies, really come from.
It's a core, almost radical philosophy that underpins pretty much everything he does. Musk redefines risk-taking not as recklessness or, gambling, but as a carefully calculated tool for progress.
Calculated how?
It involves making informed decisions based on data, expertise, and a clear understanding of potential outcomes. For him, taking these calculated risks isn't about mere bravado. It's about pushing boundaries, daring to explore uncharted territory, and discovering new possibilities that more conventional, risk-averse approaches would never uncover.
And failure's role in that.
He truly views failure not as some final setback, but as an integral part of innovation. At his companies, failure isn't stigmatized or punished, at least not ideally. It's explicitly and almost ritually treated as a valuable learning opportunity.
His famous quote.
Right, his famous mantra, as our source quotes directly, is, "If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough." This profoundly counterintuitive perspective allows teams to experiment without that crippling fear of personal reprisal, which significantly accelerates the pace of discovery, iteration, and improvement.
But they are calculated risks, right? Not just random shots in the dark.
Yes. And while he's known for incredibly bold, almost audacious decisions, his risks are usually meticulously calculated, often backed by substantial investment in R&D, rigorous testing, and pre-planned contingencies to mitigate severe negative impacts, even if they don't always prevent them entirely.
So it's not just blind leaps of faith. There's a highly analytical method to the perceived madness. Tell us about some of the most prominent examples of this risk-taking and iteration from the sources. SpaceX seems like the obvious place to start.
SpaceX's groundbreaking success in developing reusable rockets is a perfect and dramatic illustration. This was a game-changing achievement in aerospace, one that literally transformed the industry. But the journey, as we know, was fraught with challenges.
Understatement. Lots of explosions.
Exactly, including multiple failed launches and spectacular crashes during the early test phases. However, these highly visible setbacks were not seen internally as definitive failures, but rather as providing critical data that meticulously informed subsequent designs and improvements.
Learning from the fireballs.
Literally. The development of the Falcon 9 rocket, for instance, involved numerous test flights and iterative design tweaks. Each explosive failure, each unexpected anomaly, was meticulously analyzed by engineers to identify weaknesses and rapidly refine the technology.
The Starship is the same now.
The same iterative process, perhaps even more aggressively, continues with the Starship program. Rapid prototyping and frequent, often fiery, test launches are absolutely integral to achieving Musk's vision of making interplanetary travel a reality. By embedding this philosophy of embracing failure as an indispensable part of the process, SpaceX has achieved unprecedented milestones.
Like reliably landing rockets vertically.
And drastically reducing the cost of space exploration from billions down towards millions per launch.
And this iterative approach, learning from mistakes, applies to Tesla's production as well, right? It's not just rockets exploding.
Exactly. The ramp-up of the Model Y, Tesla's incredibly popular electric SUV, exemplifies this strategy in scaling complex manufacturing. To streamline and accelerate production, Tesla aggressively incorporated lessons learned from earlier models, particularly the production hell challenges of the Model 3.
And introduce new techniques.
Yes, revolutionary new techniques like using gigacasting machines for large vehicle parts, essentially casting massive single components instead of assembling many smaller ones, which drastically simplifies the process.
Was it smooth sailing?
Oh no. Despite initial challenges, including delays, unexpected production bottlenecks, and software glitches, Tesla's iterative approach enabled the company to rapidly refine its manufacturing processes, optimize its supply chain, and significantly increase output.
And the Model Y became huge.
Its subsequent success not only solidified Tesla's market position, but also powerfully demonstrated the value of continuously learning, adapting, and iterating from past experiences to drive ongoing transformational improvement in a highly competitive industry.
So how do you create an environment where that kind of bold experimentation and rapid innovation can actually happen safely within your organization, where failure isn't feared, but actually embraced as learning?
That's the million-dollar question for many leaders. Our source provides clear, actionable strategies for fostering such an environment. First, courageously encourage experimentation. Actively allocate dedicated resources and protected time for teams to explore new, potentially disruptive ideas, maybe through small-scale pilot programs or skunkworks projects.
Give them space to try things.
Exactly. Second, normalize failure. Establish a culture where failures are openly discussed, meticulously analyzed, and understood without blame or punishment. Focus solely on highlighting the lessons learned and the insights gained. Make it okay to talk about what went wrong.
That requires trust.
Absolutely. Which leads to the third point. Provide robust psychological safety. Ensure employees feel genuinely safe to take calculated risks, propose unconventional ideas, and even admit mistakes without fear of criticism, ridicule, or career repercussions. This is foundational.
Okay, what else?
Fourth, invest heavily in iterative processes. Implement agile methodologies like rapid prototyping, continuous feedback loops, and frequent short development cycles to make learning faster and cheaper. And fifth, recognize and reward innovation, not just successful outcomes.
Reward the attempt.
Reward the learning, celebrate bold experiments, insightful contributions, and the courage to try new things, even if they don't lead to immediate, perfect results. Consider incentive programs that value learning over just flawless execution.
So for your own growth, your team's growth, and your organization's trajectory, what's the ultimate takeaway from this approach to risk and iteration? How should you think about failure?
The ultimate takeaway is to fundamentally view failure as indispensable progress. It's not an end state, but an invaluable opportunity to learn, adapt, and dramatically improve.
So embrace it.
Yes, but smartly. Consistently take informed risks, basing your bold decisions on thorough data analysis and balancing audacious ambition with practical, well-thought-out contingencies. Iterate rapidly, using every piece of feedback, every test result, every setback as fuel to refine your solutions at an accelerated pace.
And empower your team.
Empower your teams to confidently take calculated risks and explore new ideas within a genuinely supportive environment, knowing they have your backing. And finally, stay relentlessly resilient. Maintain unwavering focus and profound adaptability when facing inevitable challenges, consciously transforming setbacks into powerful fuel for future growth and unprecedented breakthroughs. It's about a continuous, dynamic journey of impactful progress, powered by learning from every single step, even the missteps.
Okay, now let's talk about the elephant in the room, maybe. The legendary 80 to 100-hour work weeks. They're a huge, almost mythical part of the Elon Musk story. Our source calls it a relentless work ethic, setting an incredibly high bar.
Relentless is definitely the word.
But what are the real, tangible pros and cons of operating in such a high-intensity work environment? And how do you potentially achieve that level of mission-driven output without burning out yourself or completely depleting your team?
Musk's work ethic is, indeed, legendary, almost superhuman feeling. It famously involves him routinely working those 80 to 100-hour work weeks, often spanning across multiple companies like Tesla and SpaceX simultaneously.
And sleeping at the factory.
Right. And his extreme hands-on involvement, like sleeping on the Model 3 factory floor during the most critical production ramp. This highly visible, almost obsessive dedication, as our source highlights, undoubtedly inspires his teams to do the same and sets almost impossibly high standards for exceptional performance.
So it creates a certain culture.
It creates a culture of intense accountability and almost visceral urgency, and a shared sense that extraordinary effort is the baseline expectation, not the exception.
So what are the upsides of operating at that kind of sustained, extreme intensity? There must be significant benefit for him to demand it, or he wouldn't do it himself.
There are indeed significant benefits, particularly when you're pursuing audacious, time-sensitive goals, which he always seems to be. The source points to several crucial pros of a high-intensity environment. First, simply rapid progress.
Makes sense. More hours, more work done.
To a point, yes. This extreme focus and dedication can truly accelerate timelines, compress development cycles, and drive innovation at a breakneck pace, motivating employees to push well beyond traditional boundaries. Second, strong team cohesion.
How does working crazy hours build cohesion?
Shared commitment to an incredibly demanding, almost impossible mission often fosters an unparalleled sense of camaraderie, deep loyalty, and mutual reliance among team members. Think of soldiers in a trench. Employees can take immense pride in contributing to truly meaningful, world-changing achievements together.
And third,
Potentially enhanced problem solving. The constant pressure and high expectations can compel teams to be incredibly resourceful, creative, and resilient in overcoming challenges, as they are perpetually pushed to find innovative solutions under extreme duress. Necessity is the mother of invention, right?
but the downside is pretty clear, isn't it? The price, as the outline calls it, of sustained extreme effort. It can't be all good.
Absolutely not. The source directly and frankly addresses the critical drawbacks, emphasizing that this intensity comes at a significant cost. The primary one is the severe risk of burnout.
We talked about this earlier.
Yes. Prolonged continuous stress and excessively long hours inevitably lead to physical and mental exhaustion. This demonstrably impacts productivity negatively in the long run, erodes morale, and results in alarmingly high employee retention issues.
And a personal cost.
This creates a pervasive work-life imbalance, leaving little to no room for personal time, family, or hobbies, severely straining relationships and fundamentally jeopardizing overall well-being. Ultimately, while such intense work environments might achieve astonishing short-term gains and accelerate groundbreaking innovations, they risk drastically decreased long-term sustainability if employees consistently feel overburdened, unsupported, and perpetually on the verge of exhaustion.
It's a huge trade-off.
It is perhaps the most profound and difficult balance for any leader to genuinely consider and manage. What are you willing to sacrifice and ask others to sacrifice?
So if you want to cultivate that kind of strong work ethic, that mission-driven intensity, but without completely exhausting everyone and creating a revolving door of talent, what does the source suggest? How do you get the drive without the damage?
Our source offers practical, nuanced strategies for leaders aiming to harness high performance sustainably. Firstly, foster a deeply mission-driven culture. Beyond just tasks, align every aspect of work with a compelling, inspiring vision to give employees a profound sense of purpose. Communicate the why behind every task, relentlessly reinforcing its importance to the grander objective. Make the work feel important.
Okay, purpose helps. What else?
Secondly, encourage flexibility and autonomy where possible. While expectations are high, allow employees to manage their schedules and work in ways that best suit their strengths and personal needs, fostering intrinsic motivation rather than relying solely on external pressure or face time. Trust them.
And balance.
Thirdly, prioritize and actively model work-life balance. Implement policies that genuinely encourage time off. Emphasize the critical importance of rest and recovery. Help set clear boundaries between work and personal life. Don't send emails at midnight expecting a response.
Lead by example, but carefully.
Exactly. Fourth, lead by example, but crucially, without glorifying overwork. Demonstrate your commitment and passion, yes, but also show that you value well-being by taking breaks yourself, setting realistic, albeit ambitious, expectations, and explicitly discouraging unnecessary presenteeism or busy work. And finally, provide robust support and accessible resources.
Like mental health again.
Yes. Offer mental health resources, encourage open discussion about challenges and stress, and create a supportive environment where employees feel comfortable seeking help and discussing their well-being without stigma.
So the core lessons for managing your own energy and your team's energy when striving for extraordinary goals. How do you sum that up?
Model profound commitment, absolutely, but do so responsibly and sustainably. Set incredibly high expectations for your teams, yes, but crucially, provide the extensive support and resources needed for them to succeed without breaking.
Balance intensive.
Balance intensity with long-term sustainability. Recognizing the limits of human productivity and prioritizing long-term well-being and retention over potentially destructive short-term gains. Build a truly mission-driven culture where every individual understands their profound purpose and contribution. And always actively celebrate achievements and milestones, big and small, to maintain morale, reinforce positive behaviors, and ensure that the pursuit of excellence is both impactful and sustainable for everyone involved. It's about achieving greatness in a way that respects the human element.
Okay, let's talk about people. He famously doesn't care much about degrees, he cares about doing. This philosophy fundamentally defines his approach to talent and problem solving, focusing on demonstrated skill and raw creativity over traditional credentials.
Yeah, it's a very distinct, almost disruptive way of looking at hiring and team building.
Tell us more about that.
It absolutely is, and it's arguably a cornerstone of his success in building these innovative companies. Musk's hiring philosophy prioritizes candidates' ability to solve real-world problems and demonstrate exceptional skill above pretty much all else. He often explicitly downplays traditional academic credentials like college degrees.
He said that publicly, right?
He has. He's famously stated he doesn't care if someone has a PhD or even a high school diploma, as long as they possess the fundamental ingenuity, the problem-solving prowess, and the drive required for the job.
So what does he look for?
This laser-like focus on competence, intrinsic potential, and a proven track record of actually solving difficult problems attracts highly unconventional individuals. People who might not fit traditional corporate molds but possess the raw talent and creativity to excel in these highly demanding, innovative environments.
And how does he actually find these people then? If not primarily by scanning resumes for keywords and degrees, what's his vetting process like?
Well, his companies employ incredibly rigorous, often quite unconventional interview processes. They're specifically designed to assess candidates' deep problem-solving abilities and how they think under pressure.
Like brain teasers.
Less brain teasers, more real-world problems. Our source mentions that Musk himself has been known to ask candidates about the most difficult problem they've solved and how they approached it.
What does that reveal?
It seems simple, but it's incredibly revealing. It uncovers not just technical expertise, but also the candidate's mindset, their analytical thought process, their perseverance, and their ability to break down complex issues, qualities absolutely essential for tackling the unprecedented challenges at his companies.
And once they're hired, what about growth?
Beyond the initial hiring, his companies also place a strong emphasis on internal growth and continuous learning. They provide employees with abundant opportunities to expand their skill sets, take on new, challenging roles, and move across different projects. This is a powerful mechanism for retaining top talent who thrive on intellectual challenge and growth.
And once he has these uniquely talented, maybe unconventional people, how does he foster that pervasive creativity and problem-solving mindset across the whole organization? It can't just be him.
No, definitely not. Innovation, for Musk, isn't just siloed in an R&D department. It demands a deeply ingrained culture where creativity, radical problem solving, and a willingness to challenge norms are actively encouraged and rewarded.
How is that encouraged?
At both Tesla and SpaceX, employees are profoundly empowered, or at least are meant to be, to experiment, propose unconventional solutions, and even fail fast, as we discussed. Musk's own willingness to take monumental risks sets the tone from the very top, demonstrating that failure is an acceptable, even necessary part of the innovation process.
Creating that psychological safety again.
Ideally, yes. This culture fosters bold, outside-the-box thinking and rapid iteration. His teams are also rigorously trained and encouraged to approach challenges using first principles thinking, breaking problems down, building solutions from scratch, ensuring they're fundamentally innovative, not just derivative.
And collaboration.
And relentless cross-functional collaboration is a hallmark. Teams from disparate disciplines, engineers, designers, software developers, manufacturing specialists, work together seamlessly, ideally, to solve complex, multifaceted problems. Combining diverse perspectives and expertise significantly enhances problem-solving capabilities and can spark unexpected breakthroughs.
So for any leader listening, maybe someone building their own team or trying to improve their current one, how do you go about building a truly high-performing team like that? One that's driven by ingenuity and deeply aligned with your mission. What are the steps?
The source provides concrete, actionable steps. First, define a truly compelling and inspiring mission. A clear, aspirational purpose acts as a powerful magnet, attracting passionate individuals who resonate with your vision and ensures every team member intrinsically understands their profound role in something bigger.
Mission first, then people.
Then people. Second, hire for cultural fit and unique contribution. While technical skills are essential, also look for individuals who genuinely share your core values, embrace a growth mindset, and crucially, bring unique perspectives that can challenge existing norms and spark new ideas. Don't just hire clones.
Okay. Hire, right, then develop.
Third, foster continuous learning and development. Invest proactively in robust training programs, mentorship opportunities, and create pathways for employees to take on new, stretching challenges to ensure continuous growth and skill expansion. Keep them engaged and growing. Fourth, cultivate a transparent, feedback-driven culture.
Communication again.
Always. Establish clear, accessible channels for regular, open communication, and crucially, ensure that feedback is not just heard, but demonstrably acted upon to drive continuous improvement and build trust. Show that input matters. And fifth, recognize and reward contributions, both big and small.
Celebrate wins.
Celebrate achievements, individual and team, visibly and often. This motivates employees, reinforces desired behaviors, and builds a vibrant culture of excellence and appreciation.
So the ultimate lessons for your team building and talent strategy, drawing from this.
Prioritize raw skill, inherent ingenuity, and proven problem solving over just traditional credentials. Encourage bold thinking. Deliberately create a culture where experimentation, unconventional ideas, and healthy dissent are welcomed and explored, not shut down.
Align them.
Align your teams deeply and profoundly with a clear, inspiring mission that motivates every single member beyond just their job description. Actively promote and facilitate collaboration by systematically breaking down silos and encouraging cross-functional teamwork to leverage diverse perspectives. And finally, invest continuously in growth. Provide abundant learning and development opportunities to help your employees reach their absolute fullest potential. It's about building a team not just of great individuals, but a collective synergistic force driven by a shared powerful purpose and a relentless pursuit of the impossible.
Okay, we're covering a lot of ground here. Let's talk about change. The world is constantly changing, obviously, and so is Elon Musk's approach to it, it seems. A hallmark of his leadership, according to the source, is his remarkable ability to adapt and iterate in the face of challenges.
Yes, agility is key.
It's all about the flexibility to pivot when new information comes in, which must be absolutely crucial in such dynamic, rapidly evolving industries like space and electric vehicles. Things change constantly.
That's a key differentiator for his companies and a significant competitive advantage. In industries defined by, frankly, dizzying technological advancements, fierce competition, and high uncertainty, Musk's inherent flexibility in decision-making and his unwavering willingness to pivot rapidly have been absolutely instrumental to his company's survival and success.
What drives that flexibility?
Our source explicitly states that his approach is deeply rooted in his focus on outcomes rather than methods. If a particular strategy, no matter how much effort has been invested in it, no longer effectively serves the organization's overarching goals,
He's not afraid to drop it.
he doesn't hesitate to change course, often dramatically. This outcome-centric mindset allows his companies to remain incredibly agile and responsive even when facing significant, unexpected challenges or discovering critical new information. He's not dogmatic about the path, only the destination.
And it's not just gut feeling.
No, he also relies heavily on empirical evidence. Whether meticulously analyzing vehicle performance data, scrutinizing rocket test outcomes, or evaluating market shifts, he uses data-driven iteration to guide strategic changes. This minimizes speculative risks and ensures that every pivot and iteration is based on concrete insights, not just intuition or ego.
Give us some specific, impactful examples of this strategic adaptation and iteration in action. Where has he shown this dramatic flexibility?
Tesla's strategic pivot to prioritize the production of the Model Y, their electric SUV, is a prime example of this data-driven adaptation. Initially, remember, Tesla's primary focus was on the Model 3 sedan for mass market adoption. That was the big plan.
Right, the affordable sedan.
But clear, undeniable market trends, particularly in the critical Chinese market, but also globally, showed an overwhelming and growing demand for SUVs and crossovers. People wanted bigger vehicles.
So what did he do?
Recognizing this massive market opportunity, Musk rapidly accelerated the development and production of the Model Y. He leveraged lessons learned from the Model 3's production challenges to streamline the process for the Y.
And the result?
This courageous decision to shift significant focus and resources paid off spectacularly. The Model Y quickly became one of Tesla's best-selling vehicles globally, solidifying the company's dominant position in the broader EV market. It powerfully demonstrates his willingness to change deeply entrenched plans based on evolving real-time market data and consumer preferences.
And the Starship program sounds like it's basically a constant, almost daily process of adaptation and iteration, given the sheer scale of the ambition there.
It absolutely is, perhaps the ultimate example currently. SpaceX's Starship program, designed to enable human interplanetary travel to Mars, has undergone numerous, often radical design changes and countless test iterations.
We've seen the explosions.
Right. Early prototypes faced multiple highly public failures, including those spectacular explosions during testing. But these setbacks, critically, were never viewed internally as definitive failures, but rather as invaluable opportunities to learn and improve.
How does that speed things up?
Musk's insistence on rapid prototyping and frequent, almost continuous test launches allowed SpaceX to quickly identify design weaknesses, material limitations, and operational flaws. This enabled them to refine Starship's design at an unprecedented, almost unbelievable pace compared to traditional aerospace programs.
So failure accelerates learning.
By embracing rapid iteration and learning from every single failure, treating each explosion as a useful data point, SpaceX has made staggering progress towards its ambitious goal of creating a fully reusable spacecraft capable of transporting humans and cargo to Mars and beyond. Its adaptability taken to an extreme.
So what are the core lessons in resilience and adaptability for us as leaders, especially when facing unexpected challenges or opportunities in our own work?
Our source provides profound and valuable insights here. First, embrace a true growth mindset. View challenges, unexpected obstacles, even significant setbacks not as failures, but as invaluable opportunities to learn, adapt, and grow. Encourage continuous improvement across your organization.
See challenges as opportunities.
Exactly. Second, stay relentlessly focused on outcomes. Prioritize your overarching strategic goals and mission rather than rigidly adhering to specific predetermined plans or methods. Be unequivocally willing to change course, even dramatically, if a new path better serves your mission. Don't fall in love with the plan. Third, leverage data and feedback relentlessly. Use empirical evidence, real-time data, and robust feedback loops to guide every decision-making process and to precisely identify areas for continuous improvement. Minimize reliance on intuition alone, especially when the stakes are high. Fourth, foster a vibrant culture of agility.
Meaning empower people to adapt.
Right. Actively empower teams to propose changes, challenge existing methods, and adapt quickly to new information or evolving circumstances. Encourage cross-disciplinary collaboration to speed this up. And finally, iterate rapidly and fearlessly learn from failure. Treat every setback or unsuccessful experiment as a valuable source of information to drive progress and refine your strategies.
And practically, what can you do as a leader to build this kind of dynamic agility and adaptability into your organization's DNA? How do you make your team more flexible?
The source suggests several highly practical strategies. Engage regularly in scenario planning. Try to anticipate potential market changes, technological shifts, or competitive threats, and develop robust contingency plans for various possible futures. Think ahead about what if.
Be prepared.
Exactly. Invest heavily in continuous learning. Through ongoing training, development programs, and fostering a culture of intellectual curiosity, ensure your teams stay updated and acquire new skills needed for the future. Maintain transparent and consistent communication. Keep your teams fully informed about strategic changes, the rationale behind pivotal shifts, and the evolving landscape. This builds trust and alignment needed for rapid change.
And decision-making.
Empower decentralized decision-making. Delegate authority to team members at appropriate levels so they can respond quickly and autonomously to local challenges and opportunities without waiting for layers of approval. And always, celebrate progress and improvements, even small ones. Publicly acknowledge the efforts and successes related to adaptation and innovation, reinforcing a culture that values flexibility and continuous evolution. It's about being perpetually prepared for change and seeing it not as a threat, but as an inevitable, even exciting opportunity for advancement.
Okay, moving towards the end here. It's not just about profit, right? For Musk, it seems it's also about purpose. That's the essence of his dual focus, as the source puts it, being both customer-centric and mission-oriented.
A really interesting combination.
How does he manage to balance delighting customers today, making cars people want now, while pursuing these massive, often decades away, transformative goals for humanity, like Mars or sustainable energy?
This dual focus is a definite hallmark of his leadership, and it arguably allows for long-term sustainable success driven by that unwavering commitment to transformative goals. At the heart of his strategy is this deep, often obsessive commitment to creating products that exceed customer expectations in their daily use.
Making them great products first.
Right. While simultaneously advancing broader societal objectives that often stretch far into the future, it goes beyond merely meeting basic market needs. It's about delighting customers with genuinely innovative solutions that redefine their experiences and solve problems they didn't even know they had, all while pushing a larger, world-changing agenda.
So it's not either, it's both working together. Give us a concrete example of how that customer centricity plays out at Tesla, combined with the overarching mission.
Tesla's electric vehicles are a prime example of this intricate balance. They combine cutting-edge technology, striking aesthetic appeal, and superior performance, making them highly desirable and fundamentally customer-centric products in their own right.
Things people want to buy.
Exactly. Features like the seamless over-the-air software updates, which continuously improve the vehicle's functionality and add new capabilities years after purchase, and the advanced autopilot system demonstrate a clear, ongoing commitment to enhancing customer satisfaction and delivering future value.
But where does the mission come in stronger?
But crucially, our source highlights Musk's often unconventional willingness to make sacrifices in the present to achieve transformative objectives. Unlike many purely profit-focused organizations that might prioritize quarterly earnings above all else, he's demonstrably prepared to take calculated risks, invest heavily in long-term R&D, or even forego immediate competitive advantage if it profoundly aligns with the broader long-term mission of accelerating sustainable energy.
That willingness to sacrifice short-term gain for long-term planet-sized purpose seems pretty rare in the corporate world. What are some of those big mission-oriented decisions that really reflect this? Where did he prioritize mission over profit?
One of the most famous and frankly unprecedented examples is Tesla's decision back in 2014 to openly publish and allow any competitor to use its electric vehicle patents.
Which seemed crazy at the time.
It did. It was an unprecedented decision aimed not at profit or competitive advantage, but purely at accelerating the global transition to sustainable energy. While it might have initially seemed like a profound threat to Tesla's competitive edge, it unequivocally underscored Musk's profound commitment to addressing climate change at a planetary scale, even if it meant helping competitors catch up.
What was the effect?
By actively encouraging other manufacturers to adopt EV technology, Tesla not only advanced its core mission, but also arguably solidified its reputation as the unequivocal leader in sustainability, building immense trust and loyalty with customers who deeply cared about that very mission. It was a long game.
And the Starlink program by SpaceX. That seems like a massive undertaking with a huge social purpose, global internet, but also a clear commercial imperative.
Exactly. SpaceX's Starlink program, aiming to provide global internet connectivity from low Earth orbit, is another incredibly powerful example of this dual focus. Developing a low-cost, high-speed satellite internet network presented immense technical, financial, and logistical challenges.
But the mission part,
The program's profound potential to bridge the digital divide and connect billions of underserved communities worldwide aligns perfectly and powerfully with SpaceX's broader humanitarian mission of advancing humanity and ensuring access to essential resources.
and the business part.
Starlink's commercial focus on delivering reliable, high-value internet service to customers, particularly in remote areas, while simultaneously addressing a critical global issue, beautifully illustrates how Musk combines customer-centric innovation with a deep, mission-oriented strategy. Its profit inextricably linked with profound purpose.
So for leaders trying to juggle these priorities, keeping customers happy now, delivering value today, but also driving towards monumental long-term goals, what are the key strategies the source suggests for aligning these often competing priorities?
First, align your products and services intimately with your mission. Design offerings that not only acutely address customer needs, but also demonstrably contribute to your overarching transformative goals, like Tesla EVs promoting sustainability. Make the connection explicit. Second, communicate the mission relentlessly and transparently.
Let people know the why.
Ensure that your customers, employees, and all stakeholders not only understand your purpose, but see how your actions consistently align with it. Clear communication builds profound trust and shared commitment. Third, invest strategically and heavily in innovation. Prioritize R&D that not only enhances immediate customer satisfaction, but also fundamentally advances your long-term mission objectives. Invest in both horizons.
And be willing to make sacrifices.
Fourth, cultivate a profound willingness to sacrifice short-term gains. Remain unwavering in your focus on your mission, even if it means foregoing immediate profits or making unpopular decisions that serve a greater future purpose. It takes courage. And fifth, measure success holistically. Evaluate progress not just based on conventional financial metrics, but also based on customer satisfaction, the tangible alignment with your mission, and your long-term societal outcomes. Broaden your definition of success.
What are the ultimate lessons for your impact then, for building a legacy that maybe goes beyond just the quarterly reports?
Define a clear, compelling mission that deeply resonates with customer needs and genuinely inspires all stakeholders. Focus relentlessly on long-term value creation, prioritizing decisions that fundamentally advance your organization's audacious goals over fleeting short-term profits. Innovate tirelessly, always striving to delight customers with groundbreaking solutions while simultaneously addressing broader societal or global challenges.
Communicate and be resilient.
Communicate transparently, building deep trust by consistently showing how your actions, even difficult ones, align with your core mission. And finally, stay incredibly resilient, perpetually prepared to make bold, unconventional decisions and take calculated risks in relentless pursuit of those transformative, world-changing goals. It's about creating a legacy of innovation and profound impact that extends far beyond individual products or a single lifetime.
Okay, but now, it's not all smooth rockets and shiny electric cars, is it? Our source gives us a crucial reality check, looking candidly at the critiques and challenges of Musk's leadership style. Understanding these downsides, the true human and organizational costs, is just as important, if not more so, than understanding the successes.
That's absolutely essential for a truly balanced and complete view. While his unique leadership style undeniably drives unprecedented innovation and accelerates progress at a breathtaking pace, it also comes with significant, well-documented criticisms and considerable human cost.
Like the burnout culture.
Exactly. One of the most prominent, as we've touched upon, is the pervasive burnout culture. As our source details, Musk's notoriously demanding work ethic, those 80 to 100-hour work weeks, sets an almost impossible standard. This has led to widespread reports of burnout and alarmingly high turnover rates at both Tesla and SpaceX. The immense, unyielding pressure to meet incredibly ambitious deadlines often severely impacts work-life balance, raising serious concerns about the long-term sustainability and overall well-being of his dedicated workforce. It's a persistent tension inherent to his approach.
And the second big one I always hear about is the over-promising and missed deadlines. It seems almost baked into the way he sets goals and communicates.
Yes, that's another key and consistent criticism: over-promising and frequently missed deadlines. Musk's tendency to set incredibly aggressive, often seemingly impossible, timelines is a real double-edged sword. While it undoubtedly pushes teams to achieve truly rapid progress and inspires a sense of urgency,
It often doesn't happen on time.
it very often results in significant delays and the consistent failure to meet those public expectations. The source specifically highlights the prolonged rollout of Tesla's autopilot features and the repeatedly delayed timeline for achieving full self-driving capability as prime examples that have faced constant scrutiny and public frustration.
What's the impact of that?
This can, over time, erode trust with customers, investors, and even employees who feel constantly stretched thin trying to meet unrealistic goals. Of course, defenders argue that this audacity is necessary to drive such rapid technological progress and maintain a competitive edge, but there's a cost to credibility.
And finally, his intensely hands-on approach sometimes crosses into what some perceive as micromanagement, despite his stated aims for empowerment and flat structures.
Indeed, his deep technical micromanagement and control is another frequent critique, while his profound technical expertise and almost obsessive attention to granular detail are undeniable hallmarks of his leadership and have demonstrably driven breakthroughs.
It can be too much.
His pervasive hands-on involvement can certainly be perceived as micromanagement by those under him. Some employees have openly expressed frustration with his tendency to frequently override decisions made by their managers and to directly impose his specific vision, even on minute details. This, somewhat paradoxically, could potentially stifle creativity, initiative, and genuine autonomy within teams, despite his stated desire for radical empowerment. It's a fine line, and he often appears to cross it, according to critics.
So what can we, as leaders, learn from these undeniable downsides? How can a leader adapt Musk's principles, the vision, the drive, the innovation, without falling into these very real traps of burnout, overpromising, and micromanagement? What's the synthesis?
Our source offers incredibly valuable lessons and suggests a balanced path forward. First, on balancing ambition and realism. While ambitious goals are absolutely essential to inspire, leaders must also judiciously balance them with realistic timelines and expectations. This means incorporating robust contingency plans, building in buffers for the unexpected, and communicating transparently and honestly about potential challenges and delays to maintain trust with all stakeholders. Under-promise and over-deliver might be wiser sometimes.
Okay, balance ambition. What about well-being?
Second, on promoting employee well-being. Proactively addressing the risk of burnout and fostering a truly supportive work culture is paramount for sustaining long-term productivity and retaining top talent. Implement policies that genuinely prioritize work-life balance, flexible schedules, wellness programs, mental health resources, and make sure to visibly recognize and appreciate contributions to prevent exhaustion. Don't just extract value.
And empowerment, avoiding the micromanagement trap.
Third, on empowering teams authentically. To mitigate the risks of micromanagement, focus intensely on giving teams genuine autonomy to make decisions within their areas of expertise. Actively encourage diverse perspectives to enrich problem solving. Delegating significant responsibilities and building profound trust in team members are essential for scaling effectively and fostering ownership.
So practically, what are the actionable strategies you can take from this for your leadership path, ensuring your journey toward transformative goals is both inspiring and sustainable? How do you put this together?
The source provides a clear, balanced roadmap. Set bold but achievable goals by breaking large, audacious ambitions into smaller, more manageable, and clearly defined milestones. This provides a sense of progress and makes targets feel less overwhelming.
Make it step by step.
Right. Foster a genuinely healthy work environment by encouraging open, honest communication about workload and stress levels, and crucially, by modeling healthy behaviors yourself as a leader, taking breaks, having a life outside work, respecting boundaries. Communicate transparently, be brutally honest about challenges, setbacks, and realistic timelines to manage expectations effectively and build an unshakable foundation of trust. Delegate and empower by trusting your team members with significant responsibilities, providing them with the necessary resources and support, and stepping back to let them own their solutions. Trust is key. And finally, celebrate resilience and learning. Frame failures not as shortcomings, but as invaluable growth opportunities. Consistently recognize perseverance, adaptability, and the courage to learn from mistakes within your team.
So the ultimate lesson is?
The ultimate lesson is to meticulously pace ambition with realism, prioritize your team's well-being as a core strategic asset, balance grand vision with practical autonomy, embrace radical transparency, and relentlessly learn from every failure. Ensure the journey toward extraordinary goals is both exhilarating and sustainable for everyone involved.
Wow. So after this really deep dive into Elon Musk's management philosophy, it's crystal clear his journey is a masterclass in audacious vision, incredible resilience, and a truly relentless pursuit of the extraordinary.
It really is something to behold.
We've peeled back the layers to see the incredible highs, the revolutionary breakthroughs, and we've also candidly explored the demanding realities, the human and organizational costs that come with such intensity.
Absolutely. The core principles, as our source, Paramendra Kumar Bhagat, powerfully concludes, truly center on embracing visionary leadership that is almost prophetic in its scope, coupled with a relentless, almost obsessive drive for continuous innovation.
Defining that bold vision.
Defining a bold vision that not only inspires, but fundamentally reorients an entire organization. But crucially, it also emphasizes the profound importance of balancing that audacious ambition with a grounded practicality.
Like breaking down goals.
Meticulously breaking large, seemingly impossible goals into manageable milestones, leveraging data for every critical decision, and constantly, almost reflexively, adapting to change. And finally, empowering teams to achieve the extraordinary.
Which means?
Which means not just attracting unparalleled talent, but fostering a culture of profound autonomy, celebrating raw resilience, and learning deeply and rapidly from every single setback.
But the real enduring question now for everyone listening is, what does this mean for you? Our source prompts us to consider how we might, perhaps selectively, lead like Elon in our own lives, in our own teams, and within our organizations.
It's about thoughtful application.
It suggests articulating your most profound vision, cultivating an unshakable growth mindset, leading with unwavering purpose, and genuinely empowering others to reach their highest potential. Maybe learning from both his successes and his shortcomings.
Perhaps the ultimate lesson from studying a figure as monumental, and let's face it, as polarizing as Elon Musk isn't just about reaching for the stars, or Mars for that matter,
No.
but understanding the precise human costs, the profound trade-offs involved, and the delicate, often brutal balance required to get there. As you go about your own challenges and aspirations this week, maybe ask yourself this. How will you choose to balance the relentless, almost insatiable pursuit of the extraordinary with the essential sustainability of your own journey, and crucially, the long-term well-being and flourishing of your team?